Geiger counter won't shut up. Not full-on screaming yet, not that machine gun staccato that means your marrow is cooking, but steady ticks like teeth grinding. 0.3 Roentgens, then 0.4, then back to 0.3. Dancing numbers in the green range. That's supposed to be safe. Safe enough to breathe, safe enough to walk. I don't trust it. Tap, tap, tap. The habit's older than me at this point. 2 taps against the cracked plastic casing, sometimes 3, like knocking on a coffin lid. Just to make sure someone's home inside the circuitry. Old tunnel superstition. Keep your instruments honest, or they'll lie to you when it counts. It answers with a click, like a whisper in a church. I pretend it means the counter's alive, loyal, still my partner in this rotten city. Truth is, half these devices were fried the day of the blow. The electronics survived, but the logic boards, the sensors, they warp, they forget. Just like people, the street ahead glitters with glass. Thousands of shards laid out like broken teeth, each one flashing red in the sunrise. Looks like blood, doesn't it? Always does at this hour. Sunrise doesn't heal this place, it cauterizes it. I tell myself I've walked streets like this before, and I'll walk them again. But I can't remember the last one, not clearly. Was it Sector 7? No. Sector 4 maybe, the one with the collapsed freeway hanging over it like a guillotine. I lose track sometimes. That's what the radiation does, they say. Eats your memory first, your marrow next. Boots crunch through the glass. Sound carries strange here, ricochets off the hollow shells of buildings. A pharmacy with its doors ripped off, a jewelry shop with watches scattered across the floor, still ticking 27 years later. A city frozen mid-step. Everyone gone, everything left. People ask me why I keep coming back. Not in person, no one travels with me anymore. But in the way they look at me when I drag a haul back to the markets, when I put working processors and rare metals on the table. They wonder why I risk the wins, why I keep pushing when everyone else has settled into the underground. I never tell them the truth. I need the noise. The tick of the counter, the crunch of my boots, the static on the radio. If I stay too long underground, the silence starts gnawing at me. Down there, I hear things no one else does. Laughter that isn't laughter. Breathing that isn't mine. At least up here, the city makes noise to keep the ghosts busy. Wind threads through shattered windows. It carries the smell I've come to hate most. Iron and ozone, like a storm after lightning but sharper, metallic. Smells like the air right before someone dies of exposure. The rules. I whisper them under my breath, so I don't forget. Low winds mean safe zones. High winds carry the bad stuff. Except I can't remember if that's exactly right. Was it low winds mean safe, or no winds mean safe? Rodriguez knew the rules better. He recited them every morning like prayers before we went topside. But Rodriguez is gone now. Maybe never was. I can't keep the timelines straight anymore. I should have written them down, but paper rots and screens crack. Memory was supposed to be enough. It isn't. Ahead, 27 storefronts line the street like broken ribs. Electronics shops, jewelers, pawn shops. All gutted, all stripped down by scavengers before me. Or maybe staged to look that way, I've wondered. Who leaves an intact vending machine full of quantum processors? Who leaves a pharmacy with sealed antibiotics? The city doesn't scatter treasure randomly. It plants bait. The counter chirps again, 0.5. Not dangerous yet, but enough to make my chest tighten. Not fear, not yet. Just the weight of knowledge pressing against my ribs. I spot the scratch marks on a wall across the intersection. 3 of them parallel, deep grooves cut into concrete. 2 regular for shrapnel, 2 deep for fingernails. The first time I saw marks like that, Sector 7, Rodriguez was still with us. He laughed when he started bleeding from the eyes. Couldn't stop laughing. We left him there, or maybe I left him. Memory gets slippery when I touch it too hard. The wind picks up, rattling a sign that reads Kozlov's components in faded Cyrillic. Electronics Depot. Supposed to be untouched, if the whispers on the radio were right. My chest tightens again, not from radiation this time, but from hunger. Not food hunger, not water hunger. The other kind, the scavenger's hunger. The sickness that tells you to fill your bag, no matter what the counter says. I tell myself I'll just check. Just one quick look inside, see what's left. But the truth? I'm already imagining the weight of processors in my pack, The way traders will look at me like I'm some kind of magician when I drop a tablet with 40% battery still on the table. The city gives and it takes. I've learned to take first. I pause at the doorway. The depot's lock hangs broken, rusted to powder, chain links crumbling in my hand when I touch them. The Geiger counter ticks steady. No spikes, no dips. Too steady. That's the part that bothers me. Radiation's supposed to bounce, scatter, reflect off glass and steel. It's messy. It never stays smooth. If the numbers don't move, it means either my counter's dead or the contamination's uniform across everything. Both options are bad. I tell myself to turn back, to walk 3 blocks south to the tunnels where the air runs cleaner. I even take 1 step backward, but my boot crunches glass too loud, and something in the sound reminds me of Rodriguez's laughter, and I can't bear it. So I step inside instead. The depot smells of mold and copper. Shelves sag under the weight of old boxes, circuit boards still wrapped in plastic. Dust hangs in beams of dying light, swirling when I move. Each step feels like breaking into a tomb. I whisper the rule again, under my breath, voice shaking now. Low winds mean safe zones. High winds carry the bad stuff. Or was it no winds? The counter chirps once, sharp, like it's mocking me. The radio comes alive before I touch it. Static first, soft and steady like the city breathing through the cracks. Then a voice, sharp and familiar enough to prick the back of my skull. Ghost Rider, you copy? The name hits me like a slap. Nobody's called me that in years. Not since the tunnels, not since the crew split. Maybe not ever. Sometimes I think I made it up myself, whispered it in the dark so I wouldn't forget who I was. Hearing it now feels like someone's inside my head, rummaging through drawers that were supposed to stay locked. I raise the battered handheld from my chest pocket. Its antenna bends like a broken finger, half wrapped in tape. Copy, I say, though my voice comes out hoarse. What's the word? The signal holds steady. Too steady. In this sector, transmission should break apart, scatter against glass towers like birds against windows. But this one's clear, unnervingly clear. Electronics Depot, 3 blocks north. Untouched since the blow. Owner evacuated early, left everything behind. I look around the depot, at shelves sagging under the weight of processors and cables. 3 blocks north, he said. But I'm already here. Radiation levels? I ask because you have to. Clean as Sunday morning. Wind patterns avoid that sector. That's not an answer. Nobody talks about clean. Nobody compares this place to mornings, to anything soft. I tap the radio twice. Habit. Static clears just for a heartbeat, and in the hiss I think I hear something else. Breathing maybe, or the wind forced through tunnels underground. Copy, I whisper, though I'm not sure who I'm talking to. The transmission cuts to silence. I don't know who gave me this tip. A trader from the markets? The woman with the burned face? The kid with the missing arm? Every voice I try to pin on it slips away, greased by time and rads. Too many people I've seen, too many I've left behind. My head throbs just thinking about it. The counter chirps again. 0.4, still safe. Still green. I shoulder my pack, start filling it with anything that looks alive. Sealed circuit boards, processors gleaming like tiny mirrors, cables coiled neat as veins. My hands tremble. Not fear. Hunger. One by one, the shelves empty. My bag grows heavier, straps biting into collarbones, spine screaming in protest. This is how I'll die, I think, crushed not by radiation, not by monsters, but by the weight of greed. The Geiger counter chirps louder, climbing to 0.5, then 0.6. The rules whisper at the back of my skull. Low winds mean safe. High winds carry the bad stuff. Or was it no winds? I can't remember. My throat goes dry. A gust rattles the rear door of the depot, slamming it against the frame with a hollow boom. Dust shakes loose from ceiling tiles. My knees lock. The counter steadies at 0.6, holding firm, as if daring me to trust it. The voice returns. Ghost Rider, how's the harvest? It's clearer now, almost pleasant, like someone standing right beside me. Good haul, I mutter, eyes locked on the counter. Electronics were clean, just like you said. Glad to hear it. Weather's changing though. Might want to hustle. I stop breathing. The phrasing's wrong. No one talks like that here. Not scavengers, not traders. Weather doesn't change, it attacks. Weather doesn't hustle you, it kills you. What's your position? I ask, though I don't mean to. My tongue feels heavy, moving on its own. Silence stretches. 10 seconds. 20. Then, safe and sound, partner. See you at the rendezvous. Click. Dead air. Partner. I don't have one. Haven't in years. Not since Sector 7. Not since Rodriguez's legs gave out and the others scattered. I work alone now, always. Safer that way. Fewer mouths to feed. Fewer eyes watching when you decide to leave someone behind. But the voice sounded so certain, so familiar. Like someone I once trusted. The pack drags at my shoulders. Sweat soaks through my shirt, drips down my back. The depot's air tastes thick, metallic, like sucking on copper coins. I swallow and it sticks in my throat. The counter ticks up to 0.7. Outside, scraps of paper lift into the air, twirling in lazy spirals. They don't move like debris should. They move like dancers tracing lines someone else wrote for them. I tell myself to leave. 3 blocks south to the tunnels, that's all. Easy walk. But I stay. Tap, tap, tap. The counter chirps back, 0.7 steady. That's not how it's supposed to work. Radiation bounces, scatters, finds corners to hide in. It never stays smooth. If the numbers don't move, then either the counter's dead, or the air is poisoned evenly across everything. Both are bad. Both are really bad. I whisper to the silence. Low winds mean safe. High winds carry the bad stuff. But I can't remember the last time I trusted the rules. The scratch marks outside look deeper now, though I haven't moved. Shadows lengthen where they shouldn't. The city's teeth glint in the failing light, and I realize I've stepped into someone else's mouth. The radio hisses once more, faint and distorted, but no words come through. Just that breathing again. Slow, deliberate. Not mine. I don't know if I should answer. The pack's too heavy already, but I keep stuffing it. Processors stacked like bricks. Circuit boards wrapped in faded plastic. Power cells that might still hold charge if I pray hard enough. My fingers move faster than my brain. I can't stop. Every piece I grab feels like a heartbeat in my palm. I tell myself I'll quit after the next one. Always after the next one. The Geiger counter chatters louder now, climbing to 0.8, 0.9, dancing like it's mocking me. The ticks rattle against my skull like teeth chattering in a winter I can't remember. I should stop. I know I should stop. But greed has its own gravity. The straps dig into my shoulders, and my breath comes ragged. My spine aches like it's folding in half. The copper taste grows thicker in my mouth, coating my tongue. I know what that means. Early signs. Metal taste, then nausea, then bleeding. After that, there's no coming back. I keep going anyway. I don't want to think about Rodriguez, but I do. I see him in the corner of my eye, hunched over, bleeding from the eyes, laughing until it sounded like coughing, until it didn't sound like anything. I told myself it wasn't my fault. I told myself protocol demanded we leave him behind. But I remember the look he gave me when I stepped back. He knew. He knew I wasn't following protocol. I was saving myself. Sometimes I wonder if Rodriguez ever existed at all. The counter clicks to 1.0. The sound sharpens, each tick a needle driving through my eardrum. I tap it 3 times, harder than usual, like I'm punishing it for the truth. The numbers don't change. Ghost Rider, the voice whispers through the radio. I freeze. Harvest good, it says, steady calm. Plenty of salvage for trade. I glance at the radio on my chest. My thumb brushes the cracked plastic. I didn't press the transmit button. I didn't say anything. Who are you? I mutter, throat dry. Silence answers. Then faint breathing again, heavy measured, too close. I tear another processor from the shelf, shove it in the pack, and try to drown out the sound with my own panting. The wind outside moans through broken windows, low and long, like a voice calling my name. I swallow hard. Low winds mean safe zones. High winds carry the bad stuff. But the wind doesn't feel safe. It feels alive. Papers swirl past the doorway, tracing perfect circles now, not random gusts. Dust lifts and hangs in place like it's caught in invisible wires. I step toward the exit, dragging the pack behind me. My boots slip on glass, knees nearly buckle under the weight. I can feel my ribs pressing inward, lungs burning like I've run for miles. The counter chirps again, 1.2. Too high. That's halfway to vomiting. I whisper, just a few blocks. Just 3 blocks south. I can make it, but my legs won't move right. They shake, tremble like old wiring sparking against rust. My head feels hollow. I hear Rodriguez again. His laugh. I hate that laugh. I hear it echoing off the walls of the depot, though I know he's gone. Shut up, I hiss. The laugh doesn't stop. Tap, tap, tap. The counter doesn't care. 1.3. I drag myself to the door, stumble into the street. The wind slaps me in the face, sharp as razors. Dust cuts across my cheeks, and I taste blood mixing with the copper tang. The city's louder now. Windows shudder. Signs bang against their frames. Something metallic rolls down the street, clattering against pavement in uneven beats, like a drum summoning soldiers I can't see. And through it all, the radio crackles. Ghost Rider, you're doing good. Keep moving. Rendezvous ahead. I spit blood onto the ground. My throat feels like sandpaper. Where? I rasp before I can stop myself. Where are you? Static swallows the reply, but I think I hear it. A single word, buried in the hiss. Behind. My spine turns to ice. I whip around. Nothing but empty street, glass and rust. Shadows stretch too long, bending in directions they shouldn't. I blink hard, eyes burning, and for half a second, I swear I see a figure standing at the corner, hazmat suit gleaming in the half-light. Watching. Recording. Then it's gone. The counter ticks to 1.5. I know I should drop the pack. Every scavenger knows the rule. When the counter screams, you cut weight and run. But my hands clutch the straps like they're part of my body. If I drop this, I've got nothing. No trade. No rations. No reason to crawl back to the markets. So I keep walking slower now, dragging my haul like a coffin on my back. The wind shifts again, sharp and sudden. Debris lifts high into the air, floating for a moment before spiraling into the distance. It doesn't move like trash. It moves like a flock of birds obeying a signal I can't hear. I whisper the rule again, voice shaking, just to hear myself speak. Low winds mean safe zones. High winds carry the bad stuff. But the more I say it, the less it makes sense. The words crumble in my mouth like ash. The counter ticks to 1.6. I keep walking. The counter doesn't tick anymore, it chatters. 1.7, 1.8, 1.9. The sound fills my skull like a swarm of insects. I slap it with the heel of my hand. Tap, tap, tap. Nothing changes. The clicks keep coming, steady and cruel, like a laugh I can't shut up. The wind picks up, sharp as broken glass. My coat flaps against me like it's trying to tear itself off. Dust lashes my face until my skin stings raw. I drag the pack another few steps, boots crunching, knees shaking. Every part of me wants to drop it, to run light. But I can't. I can't. My whole life's in here. The markets won't take excuses. They'll take metal, or they'll take blood. I glance at the sky. Clouds spool overhead in spirals too neat, too perfect. Not drifting. Moving with purpose. The hairs on my arms lift. The storm's not natural. It never is. The radio crackles. The voice slips out smooth, calm. Too calm. Ghost Rider, contamination surge incoming. Hold position. My stomach knots. Surge? You said it was clean. Static, then that measured breathing again. Inhale, exhale, slow as a metronome. Whoever it is, they're not panicked. Not running. They're waiting. The counter screeches, 2.1. I gag on the copper taste in my throat. My lungs feel smaller, like the air's been thinned out. Every breath scrapes. The wind shifts again, hard. Debris lifts into the air, plastic bags, rusted cans, papers curling like dead leaves, and it doesn't scatter randomly. It whirls together, a spiral forming in the middle of the street, spinning faster and faster. I stop walking. My legs won't move forward. My body knows before my brain does. This isn't wind. This is something else. The spiral stretches taller, pulling trash and glass into a column, glowing faintly from within. It hums, a low vibration I feel in my teeth, in my ribs. Ghost Rider, the voice says. Still calm, almost gentle. Observe the anomaly. Report symptoms. My hand tightens around the radio. What the hell are you talking about? No answer. Just static, then another fragment. Subject responding to stimuli. The words twist my guts. Subject. That's not how scavengers talk. That's not how anyone down in the markets talks. That's how doctors talk. Scientists. The ones who sent us into the tunnels while they sealed their labs. I stagger back, heart slamming against my ribs. My breath rasps louder. The pack feels heavier now, straps biting like teeth. The counter leaps, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7. Too fast. It should climb gradual, not like this. Not vertical. I stumble into a doorway, hunching against the frame. My head pounds. My vision doubles. The copper taste thickens until I choke on it. The spiral in the street grows taller, tighter, spinning so fast I can't see through it. Light flares in the center, white-blue searing. And through the roar of wind and the rattle of glass, I hear it. A voice inside the spiral. Not human. Not words. Just sound, stretched and warped until it claws at my ears. I clap my hands over them, but it doesn't help. The noise is inside my skull. A howl that isn't a howl. A scream that isn't a scream. The radio bursts alive. The calm voice again. Weather event intensifying. Maintain observation. I spit blood onto the floor. You did this. My voice cracks, thin as paper. You brought me here. The static crackles, and I swear I hear a chuckle. Not loud. Not mocking. Just satisfied. The counter maxes at 3.0, shrieking like a siren. The clicks blur together, one endless scream. I want to drop the pack. I want to run, but my fingers won't unclench. They're locked around the straps like claws. The spiral leans, bending toward me, pulling air with it. The pressure in my ears pops. Windows shatter along the block, glass raining down like knives. I stumble forward, half blind. The world blurs into shards of light and shadow. My chest heaves, lungs burning, every breath a blade. Rodriguez's laugh echoes again in my head. Louder this time. Hysterical. Like he's standing right behind me, blood dripping from his face. Shut up! I scream, but my voice is lost in the storm. The spiral roars back, louder, hungrier. The debris within it grinds together, sparks flying, a storm of knives and fire. I clutch the radio to my mouth, spit blood into the speaker. If you're watching, if you're doing this, then finish it. Stop playing with me. For a heartbeat, silence. Then, proceeding to next phase. My stomach lurches. The words aren't for me. They're about me. The spiral lunges, collapsing toward the ground. Air slams into me like a wall, knocking me onto the pavement. My pack crashes against my spine, pain exploding through my ribs. I can't breathe. Dust fills my mouth, choking me. The counter screams at 3.5, then 3.6, numbers climbing too fast to follow. I crawl, dragging myself inch by inch. Hands scrape glass, knees tear open. My blood stains the shards, turning them black. The voice on the radio whispers one last thing before the static swallows it whole. Hold fast, partner. We're almost done here. I collapse onto my side, coughing red, ears ringing, eyes burning. The spiral's light floods everything, swallowing street, sky, me. And then there's nothing but white. The light doesn't fade. It devours. I blink, but it doesn't matter. My eyes flood white, nerves sizzling like wires in a fire. The counter shrieks in one endless tone. No ticks anymore, just a scream burrowed into my skull. I should be dead already. I know that. 3-point-something Roentgens in open air? That cooks your marrow, boils your blood. I've seen people drop it too. I've watched them twitch like insects before they went still. So why am I still moving? My hands drag me forward through dust so thick it feels like water. My palms slice open on glass. Blood streaks the pavement behind me, but I can't stop crawling. Can't stop trying. Survival's a habit you can't quit even when it's useless. The wind howls, but not like wind. It shifts pitch, high to low, almost like speech. Almost like laughter. I bury my face in my sleeve to block the grit, but the sound's inside me, in my teeth, rattling my skull. The pack drags at my shoulders like an anchor. I should cut it loose. Just unbuckle and leave it behind. But my hands won't. My body clings to it as if the straps are veins. Like dropping it would mean dropping myself. Shapes move inside the white. Tall shadows, black against the glow, walking calm while everything else shreds apart. Hazmat suits, bulky and gleaming, lenses reflecting the storm. They don't flinch. They don't run. I freeze, chest heaving. The storm tears at cars, bends streetlights in half, rips signs from walls, and they just stand there. Recording. Watching. One raises a device. a long rod with a dish on the end. It hums, faint and high-pitched, cutting through the roar. My counter falters, skips a beat, then resumes screaming. That's when I know. This isn't nature. This isn't fallout. This isn't weather. It's control. The voice in the radio hisses to life again, soft beneath the chaos. Phase 2 confirmed. Subject exhibiting endurance beyond projections. Subject. Always subject. Never partner. Never scavenger. My stomach lurches while rising with the blood. They're not watching me survive. They're measuring how long I take to break. I crawl faster, knees splitting open on concrete. My breath rasps loud, lungs wheezing like broken bellows. The taste of iron thickens, choking me. Rodriguez laughs again. Not in my memory this time. In the storm. I hear him, as clear as I heard him in Sector 7, voice bubbling through blood. Protocol's protocol, he wheezes, and I almost scream. I glance up, and he's there. Not whole, not alive, but stitched from light and dust, his face peeled wide in that same manic grin. His eyes drip black. He beckons me forward, into the white. No, I rasp, spitting blood. You're not real. He laughs harder, head snapping back at an angle no spine should allow. His voice mixes with the wind, a chorus of screams pitched into hysteria. My arms shake. My strength's gone. The storm presses down on me like a weight, grinding me into the pavement. My ribs ache with every shallow breath. The suited figures move closer. Calm, deliberate steps. One of them tilts its head, watching me like I'm an insect pinned to glass. The radio hisses again. Subject nearing critical. Proceed to harvest phase. Harvest. The word makes me gag. My pack slams against the pavement as I collapse flat. The processors clatter, spilling, skittering across concrete like cockroaches. My whole haul scatters in front of me. Treasures turn to worthless scrap. I want to crawl after them, gather them back. But my arms won't move. My fingers twitch, but that's all. The storm screams louder. The white burns hotter. My eyes stream tears that sting like acid. And then silence. The counter clicks once. Just once. I raise my head. The storm has stilled. I'm in the middle of it, the eye. A hollow circle carved out of the chaos. The wind walls spin around me, debris flying in an endless ring, but here it's quiet. Still. The suited figures stand at the edge, lenses glinting. Watching. Waiting. Rodriguez is gone. Just me, my blood, and the broken electronics at my knees. I choke on the air. It tastes sweeter here, sharper, like they're pumping something into this circle. Something measured. For a moment, I wonder if this is safety. If the eye is where I was always supposed to be. Then I see the scratches. On the pavement, etched deep by something sharp. Not random, not claw marks. Lines. Dozens of them, crossing and crisscrossing, forming grids, circles, patterns. The floor of the eye is carved in designs. Like this storm has happened before. Like it always happens here. My chest heaves. My vision blurs. My blood drips into the grooves, running along the lines, filling them, completing them. The radio whispers again, almost tender. Hold subject. Data alignment in progress. I clutch my counter tight. Tap. 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 The clicks echo back at me from the walls of wind, bouncing wrong, like someone else is tapping from the other side. I know then. I was never surviving. Never scavenging. I was being steered. The silence in the eye is worse than the storm. No clicks, no howls, no shattering glass. Just my own ragged breath, wheezing out like air from a punctured tire. My blood drips into the grooves carved into the pavement, thin red rivers tracing symbols I can't understand. The suited figures stand at the edge of the circle, patient, watching. Their masks glint with pale light, lenses staring without blinking. The radio comes alive again, steady and calm. Phase 3 confirmed. Subject stable in containment zone. Subject. Always subject. Never scavenger, never survivor, never man. My throat tightens. I slam my fist into the ground, weak and shaking, just to feel something I can control. My knuckles split on the concrete, pain blooming sharp. It anchors me. Barely. You're watching me. I rasp into the dust. You've been watching me this whole time. Static answers, followed by faint voices layered behind it. Not one voice now, but several, talking over each other. Words like exposure window and cognitive response and yield ratio. None of them meant for me. My counter clicks once, a lone sound in the quiet. I clutch it tight, tapping 3 times. Tap, tap, tap. It answers with a click. Not mine. Someone else's. From somewhere in the storm. My guts twist. I know then, I'm not the first one here. I look down at the carvings filled with my blood, and I see darker stains in the grooves. Old stains. Brown and black. Others have bled here. Others were led into this eye, this trap, this stage. Rodriguez's laugh echoes in my head again, but softer now, almost tired. I shut my eyes. I don't want to see him stitched from dust again. I don't want to see the grin. The radio hisses. A new voice cuts through, rougher like gravel. Subject demonstrating fixation on auditory hallucinations. Proceed with memory destabilization. My skull feels like it's splitting. My memories, Rodriguez, Sector 7, the tunnels, they swirl and blur, edges smearing together. I don't know what's real anymore. Did Rodriguez laugh, or did they make me hear it? Did I leave him behind, or was he never there? I press my forehead to the pavement, whispering through clenched teeth. You bastards. You planted it. You put him in my head. The suited figures don't answer. They don't need to. Their stillness is enough. My pack lies torn open beside me, processors scattered across the circle. I reach for one, hand trembling. The circuit board gleams in the storm's light, intricate and delicate, veins of silver and green. I think of how traders would have looked at me, how their eyes would have burned with envy. And I realize now, this was bait. They dangled treasure in the dead streets, whispered through the radio, pulled me north instead of south. They knew I'd bite. They always know. The storm's wall shifts, groaning like a living thing. For a moment, the white glow thins, and I see shadows pressed against it. Figures. Human shapes. Faces pressed to glass that isn't there. Mouths open in silent screams. I stumble back, heart pounding, vision swimming. No, I whisper. No, no, no. But the shadows don't vanish. They pound against the wall, hands slamming in unison. Some are missing fingers. Some have too many. Their eyes glow faint, reflections of the storm. The counter shrieks again, 3.9 for 0.0, numbers I shouldn't be alive to see. My stomach knots. Blood rises in my throat, hot and bitter. I double over, coughing red onto the carved pavement. The radio crackles. The calm voice returns. Target exhibiting resilience beyond parameters. Proceed to harvest. Harvest. The word cuts deeper now. Not crops. Not food. Flesh. Me. The suited figures step closer, boots crunching on glass and bone. They move in unison, slow and deliberate like a ritual. My knees buckle. My body wants to crawl, but there's nowhere left to go. Stay back, I croak, raising a shattered processor like a weapon. My arm trembles, weak as a child's. They don't react. The storm's howl rises again, pressing in, shrinking the eye. Dust and debris scrape closer, gnawing at the circle's edge. My sanctuary collapses around me. Rodriguez whispers in my ear. Not laughing now. Pleading. Don't let them take you. My teeth chatter. I slam the counter against the pavement, desperate, frantic. Tap. 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 It clicks back at me from all sides, echoes overlapping, a dozen counters answering in unison. Too many. I'm not the first. I never was. The suited figures stop 5 feet from me. One tilts its head, the gesture slow, deliberate. It raises the dish device again, humming higher this time. My counter sputters, numbers dancing erratic, unreadable. The radio hisses once more, final words before silence. Phase 4 confirmed. Extraction imminent. My vision blurs, edges blackening. My body shakes with chills, skin clammy and slick. Every breath tastes of blood and iron. And through the ringing in my ears, through the weight in my chest, one thought pounds like a drum. I was never scavenging. I was never surviving. I was bait. I wake to silence again. Not peace. Never peace. The kind of silence that smothers, that presses cotton into your ears and steals your heartbeat. The kind of silence that means you're already buried and don't know it. The counter lies on its side beside me, casing cracked, display flickering. It clicks once, then dies. My only companion gone quiet. Maybe it's mercy. I push up onto my elbows. My arms soka, veakas veitrupa. Every movement hurts, skin buzzing with fever, lungs clawing for air that isn't there. The eye is smaller now. The storm walls loom closer, towering curtains of dust and light spinning like a machine. The circle around me shrinks inch by inch, carving me down to nothing. I see the carvings again, clearer this time. Not random, not natural. Circles within circles, etched deep into the pavement, connecting lines like circuitry. Blood stains old and new run through the grooves, forming pathways. My blood joins theirs, a new current completing an old design. It hits me like a blade. This is a circuit, a ritual, a test bed. However you name it, it was built to run, and I'm just another charge fed into it. I stagger to my feet, swaying. The processors from my pack litter the ground, scattered like bones. Some still gleam, untouched by dust. Others are cracked, bleeding shards of silicon. I crouch, pick one up. The board trembles in my hand, or maybe it's just me. The etched veins look too much like the carvings at my feet. My stomach lurches. I drop it. The suited figures are gone. Or maybe they never were. Shadows at the edge of the eye, erased when I blink. But I feel them. Watching through glass I can't see, through instruments humming miles below ground. They don't need to stand here anymore. They've already got what they came for. I stumble across the circle, knees buckling, vision shaking with every step. My boots scrape cymbals into dust. More grooves appear, faint beneath the grime. The further I go, the more names I see. Scratched into the pavement, half hidden in cracks. Not names. Initials. RV carved deep. MR shallow and fading. JK barely a scratch. I stop breathing. My stomach knots so tight I nearly vomit. Rodriguez. RV Rodriguez was real. He bled here before me. He wasn't a memory stitched into my head. He was a test. Another subject. Another piece of data. I stagger, fall to my knees, forehead pressing into the grooves. The carvings are endless, initials stacked on initials. Dozens, maybe hundreds. Each one a body fed to the storm, each one thinking they were scavenging, surviving, choosing. My throat closes. I whisper into the dust, voice breaking. How many of us? How many did you feed? The storm answers with a low groan, pressing closer. Debris scrapes the walls like claws. The radio sputters, faint and broken. A voice, but not the calm one this time. A chorus of fragments. Data set, subject 47, wind anomaly stable. 47. I want to laugh. I want to scream. I want to tear my own throat out, so they can't take more from me. I crawl toward the edge of the circle, dragging myself inch by inch. My blood smears across carvings, staining initials already drowned in brown. I stretch out my hand, fingers brushing the wall of wind. It burns. The air itself bites, a static shock that sears skin. I yank back, screaming through clenched teeth. My palm blisters instantly, skin puckering. No way out. The eyes shrinking, and the walls alive. Above me, a sound cuts through the silence. A drone, steady and mechanical. I tilt my head back, eyes stinging. A helicopter. It drifts above the storm wall, sleek and black, rotors silent in the roar. Its spotlight slices down, blinding. For a second, I almost believe rescue is coming. Almost. Then I see the logo stenciled on the side. Faded, but clear enough. The old seal. The same one painted on the tunnels, on the labs that locked their doors when the city burned. They're not here to save me. They're here to sanitize. The spotlight lingers on me, unblinking. The radio crackles. Phase 5 commencing. Prepare containment protocols. My chest heaves, fury sparking through the fever. Contain this. I spit, though the words dissolve into coughing. Blood splatters the pavement, pooling into carvings. The grooves light faintly as it spreads, glowing red in the storm's white. For a heartbeat, the circuit hums. My skin prickles. My blood on their lines, completing something old. I don't know if it's theirs or mine anymore. The helicopter hovers, silent judge. I imagine figures inside, watching through lenses, writing down every twitch I make. My paranoia tells me they're smiling. My paranoia is usually right. The counter lies dead at my feet. I reach for it anyway, cradle it like a relic. Tap, tap, tap. No answer. But in the storm, 1,000 clicks echo back. The clicks in the storm echo like applause. Thousands of counters, a chorus of dead scavengers still whispering their last moments into the wind. My counter stays silent in my hand, cracked glass cutting into my palm. I can't feel the pain anymore. My nerves are shot, buzzing like exposed wires. My whole body shakes in shallow spasms, muscles firing at random. Each breath is a theft, stolen from air that isn't meant for lungs. The helicopter's light pins me like an insect. It doesn't waver, doesn't blink, just holds me in place while the storm walls creep closer, circling, spinning, narrowing the eye. Figures move again at the edge. Hazmat suits, black as oil. Their masks gleam white in the floodlight. They walk with purpose, boots silent on glass. They don't hurry. They don't need to. One raises its hand. Not to wave. To signal. The radio hisses alive in my pocket. The calm voice again, the first voice. Smooth, clinical. Subject exceeded projected survival threshold. Data integrity optimal. Proceed to closure. Closure. The word feels like dirt thrown on a coffin. I laugh, hoarse and cracked, blood bubbling in my throat. Closure? That what you call it? Static. Then another voice, harsher. Prepare sanitation. Sanitation. Not rescue. Not survival. Just cleanup. My knees give out. I drop onto the pavement, bones rattling. My blood spreads through the grooves, glowing faint in the storm's light. Every exhale feels like glass slicing my lungs. I should stop breathing, but instinct won't let me. Survival's a curse. The suited figures step into the circle now, calm as priests. Their boots crush my processors, snapping boards, grinding circuits into dust. I want to scream, to lunge, to tear at them. My body won't obey. I clutch the counter tighter. Tap, tap, tap. My last ritual. My last prayer. For once, no echo. The storm holds its breath. Rodriguez's voice fills the silence. Not laughing, not pleading, just whispering, steady as the counter used to be. It was always them. Ishakin Wasobi. He was real. He was here. And they bled him out the same way they're bleeding me. We're all initials carved into the pavement, all subjects in a study no one asked to join. The helicopter hovers lower, spotlight burning hotter. A mist sprays from its belly, a fine silver haze settling over me, over the circle. My skin tingles where it lands, burning, blistering. Sanitation, they called it. Sterilization. The suited figures kneel beside me, clinical, detached. One takes a vial from its belt, unscrews the cap, dips it into my blood pooling in the carvings. Another shines a scanner across my face, a green beam slicing through my fogged vision. Data. Always data. The radio crackles again. Confirmation received. Terminate exposure sequence. The storm shifts. The walls collapse inward. Debris and dust scream down, devouring the circle. The eye shrinks to nothing. I squeeze the counter with the last strength I have. You'll never stop it, I whisper. My words break into coughs, blood spraying across the cracked display. You'll never stop us from knowing. No one answers. The suited figures step back, calm even as the storm roars. My body gives in. My chest caves, lungs drowning in my own blood. The light fades from the helicopter's beam, swallowed by dust. My last thought is of the markets, of the trader's eyes when I'd drop a working board on the table. The envy, the hunger. I thought I was clever. I thought I was surviving. But I was just another subject, dragged into the tomb. The counter clicks one last time. A faint, distorted sound. Not from my hand. From the storm. A message carried forward, a confession buried in static. Then silence. The city closes over me.